Hello guys, it's 2's again. Today we're going to be talking about Killing Floor 2 Farm, and surprisingly this map actually has like a creepy backstory behind it. To the average player, it might just look like your regular Killing Floor 2 map, it's been abandoned as such, but if you look closer at the details within the map, there's actually a lot to uncover. And so today we're going to be taking a look at Farm and the creepy secrets that lie within. So in the kitchen area next to the living room in the farmhouse, when you look through the drawers you can see that there's this key card actually attached to something inside of the drawer, and if you enhance it, it looks like there's something ending in ZER, and this isn't actually a collectible because the collectibles are actually the dolls around the map, so this is definitely out of place. This word doesn't exactly match anything which I understand, and it does look like it's hooked to something inside the drawer, like perhaps a medicine bottle. But just looking around the place in the farmhouse, you realise that there's a lot of boarded windows. It looks like somebody was preparing for a Z attack. So here it looks like the outbreak had already started, and maybe the farmhouse was some kind of safe house for a survivor outpost. You see, we don't know exactly how long ago this was set up, if it was set up straight after the apocalypse or if it was set up during it. But if you do go into the room next to the stairs, there is a bench with some cloths or sheet rolls on, and it does look like some kind of makeshift bed or emergency operating table. So this farmhouse does look like it's been used as a survivor outpost kind of thing, and it looks like they did get overrun as well because there's a lot of debris like broken doors, and it does look like the place has been left in a mess. Although the thing that really gets me is if the Zeds had broken that down, then where are the bodies? You'd think there would have been bloodshed, but there wasn't any signs of struggle at all. It looks like it's been abandoned after the Zeds have arrived. And to me, these doors look like a flesh pound or maybe a large Zed like a Scrake had knocked them down. But it seems like the survivors have already escaped at that point, as you don't really see any signs of blood, because you'd think there would have been some bodies left over, but you can't find anyone in the farmhouse anymore. And as you go up the stairs, or even look around the house, there's like multiple glow sticks around the place. And so this gives me the idea that perhaps we weren't the first person to find this farmhouse, because of course we don't drop glow sticks in the game, we just shoot Zeds and defeat a boss. So perhaps this house was found by many people before it, or perhaps looted for stuff during the apocalypse. So obviously this goes to show that the farmhouse must have been abandoned a long time ago. But you see, that's not the creepiest thing, because if you go downstairs into the basement, there's actually a radio which plays what sounds like a distress call, like an SOS call. If you actually mute your music in game and listen carefully to it, you can actually hear what sounds like a foreign person speaking. So just a quick update, I actually was originally going to upload this video with the radio recording, but it actually got flagged on YouTube for copyright when I tried to upload it. And now this is both annoying as YouTube copyright can be, but at the same time it was interesting actually, because I finally found out what the source of the radio is. And turns out it goes to this project called the Conant Project, recording of software numbers stations 1111. And if you do research further into it, the Conant Project is a collection of recordings of shortwave radio stations that are believed to be operated by governments to communicate with spies. Recordings were released on CD by Erdial Discs starting in 1997, been sampled in various artistic projects, etc. So perhaps this wasn't an SOS call after all. Somebody was trying to communicate with someone. Maybe they're trying to communicate with us, the player. Maybe it's Halzine's way of communicating. And the specific radio you can hear in the farmhouse is actually called Czech Lady for some reason. So perhaps the map Farmhouse is actually based in Czech, somewhere in Europe, because we know in Killing Floor 2 the Zeds basically spread to Europe. So of course we now got different locations within Europe. We do see maps in France as well, with Burning Paris. I actually never knew that map Farmhouse was actually based in Czech. That's pretty interesting. Although it probably doesn't add much to the lore, it does give you a bit more insight into the backstory. So maybe after all it wasn't a survivor SOS call like I thought initially. Because when I first heard it, I actually thought it was, a survivor call, but, now that YouTube flagged it up, I actually get a better idea of what it could be. So someone is definitely trying to communicate with somebody else. I don't know if it's communicated towards us, or maybe someone who was there in the farmhouse before us. That could explain why all of the flares are around the map. Could be some government agency or a spy perhaps. And just a couple of small Easter eggs I found around the house. There's actually, if you look closely at the photos, it looks like people, but their face don't actually match their body, if you know what I mean. It does look very out of place and weird for a photo. And again, this could probably just be an Easter egg that Tripwire put in as some kind of reference. But it could possibly be the photos of people who used to live in the farmhouse, if you want to think that far ahead. But again, to be fair, I think this is just like a mini Easter egg they put in the game, Tripwire. So I don't really know what to think of it. It could just be nothing. Also, going back to the radio in the basement, if you look upwards where the radio is, and you actually no-clip towards the pipes, you can actually see there's some kind of code written on the pipes next to Horsine. The code reads 48 15, 16, 23, 42. And you see, I don't know if this means anything. There is no safe or like anything you can input it into. So again, this could just be coincidental. I have a feeling it might go somewhere, but there's nothing you can interact with within the map apart from the trader pod. It's definitely not some kind of cheat code, I don't think. And if you do actually look on the opposite side of the room, next to the stairs, there's actually wallpaper with the Horsine logo. But for some reason the Z has a line going through it. So obviously this does look like a survivor outpost. They're against the idea of Horsine. But it is a bit strange how they have the word Horsine plastered on that wall. I don't know how it got there. And speaking of the collectibles before, as you know, around the map there's actually these doll collectibles. And these actually originally come from the Killing Floor 1 mod, Toy Master, which was a mod created in 2014 for Killing Floor 1, where you basically go into a haunted dollhouse and fight off waves of killer dolls. It's basically a spin-off of Zeds that you see in the game. But you see, this gives me some strange ideas. Could the dollhouse in Toy Master actually be based in the Killing Floor 2 map farm? Is the first room of the mod Toy Master actually based in a farmhouse? It definitely raises some questions, as you don't really see the dolls like in any other map apart from Farmhouse, as you use them for collectibles. So I have a feeling maybe Toy Master and Killing Floor 2's farm is possibly linked in some way. But again, I'm probably overthinking it because there's not much evidence to back it up. But it's definitely something interesting to think about. So, what really happened within Farmhouse? Well, from looking around the map, you can basically see that it's an outpost for survivors. As you can see, the windows are all boarded up to basically protect something or someone from a Z attack. If you look around the house as well, you obviously got the doors that came off their hinges, which means the Zeds have overrun the place. However, the thing is, we don't see any bodies or anything. Like Spillway, for example, where you see Horsine soldiers. You don't see any casualties within Farmhouse, even though it looks like it's been overrun by Zeds. So perhaps this farmhouse was abandoned long before anybody actually came to it, or maybe the survivors who were in the farmhouse knew of the Z attack and got out there before things got hairy. And again, we don't really know how long it lasted or how many people there were in the house before it got overrun. But again, by judging from the map, they got out before the Zeds arrived. And with the Toy Master dolls around the map as well, it gives it that idea that maybe the mod Toy Master could have something to do with this map. Like perhaps the dollhouse is located here, or maybe it's based on Toy Master, or it could just be completely coincidental. But what do you think of all this information? Do you think it was a survivor outpost? Do you think the Toy Master mod is related to Farmhouse? What do you think happened within Farmhouse? Do leave your thoughts and opinions down below, but don't forget to like, subscribe, join Discord if you're new, follow me on the socials, and I'll see you in the next video.